A huge thank you to OSEA for sponsoring today's video, but more on them in a bit. What is up, you guys? Long time no see. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. It has been the longest I have ever gone without posting a video to YouTube, and I just wanted to share an update with you guys. I had posted a video explaining that we were moving, and ever since we arrived, I decided to take a little bit of time off of creating content on YouTube. I was on Instagram a little bit, but not even really much there. Just because my family and my kids really needed me to focus my attention on them and getting us moved and unpacked and settled. They weren't in school, obviously, because it was summertime, and yeah, we just needed to, I needed to give them that time for the last 2 months or so. And I also took some time off for my mental health. I am going to talk about it a little bit later in this video and walk you guys through kind of my experience with postpartum depression and my experience taking antidepressants and kind of an update on all of that. So we are kind of in the next phase of our move. We are settled and getting really comfortable in our new space, and one of my kids has started back at school, so I only have my 10-month-old Indigo with me. So yeah, I'm feeling like I can kind of step back into content creation again, which is very exciting. It has been truly one of the most difficult times for me. It was a very tough pill for me to swallow to not continue creating content and continue working, because this is my absolute dream. I love making content, especially on YouTube. Long form video content will always have my heart. I know we're all about TikTok. I have a TikTok now. I don't post on it yet. I'm building up the courage to, but like long form video content is just my true love. And it was really difficult for me. I felt like I lost a big piece of my identity for a little bit, because I really like creating content. It is my creative outlet and my job, bringing you guys really useful and helpful information and just sharing like life with you guys. You are such a big part of my life, and it was really difficult to take time away, but it was difficult but necessary. And sometimes being a parent means, not sometimes, all the time, you have to put your kids first. And yeah, I'm very excited though to feel like we're kind of past that transition phase of our lives and moving on. You can see I've got paint samples on the wall behind me. I love showering down here. This is actually our Airbnb. We haven't posted it for like booking yet, but the shower down here is amazing. It has this like rainfall shower head and all of these jets that you can use. I love coming down here to shower. It is just really comfy and luxurious, and it feels really good, especially when I'm waking up to shower like I am today. Indy has been sleeping like a little bit better. She still wakes up to nurse every night. She usually wakes up around 11:30, and then again at like 5 or 5:30, but she always goes back to sleep. So some mornings I wake up, some mornings I don't wake up. I'm not a morning person, but I try to be sometimes. So this morning she woke up closer to 5:30, so I went ahead and just got up. And Drew is going to be with her and Wilder until he leaves to take Wilder to school, and then I'll take Indy, and then Indy and I will go pick up Wilder later. So we have a lot of like dancing going on. So I like to start my morning off doing something for myself, especially when it comes to my mental health. Like, I have to have a ritual in place. I have to have something that is just for me, that is just my time to, you know, honor and love and care for and pour into myself however I see fit at the time. And for me, for basically the last 20 years of my life, my skincare routine has been everything. And as I am approaching 30, I'll be 30 this year, which is so exciting. I can't wait to turn 30. I don't know. I don't wear a ton of makeup anymore. I used to be super into wearing makeup, and I just would rather like pour into my skincare and like just love myself in that way, and really just be intentional with how I treat and speak to my body. I have kids who are watching me every day, and I just think it's important to be intentional about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So one thing that I absolutely love doing, that I've been doing since I was in college, is dry brushing. Dry brushing is honestly just like a game-changing ritual that whenever I don't do it, I just feel more disconnected from my body. There is something about it that is so satisfying and just feels so amazing. And as you can see, this one is from OSEA, and I am so happy to be partnering with them on another video. I absolutely adore OSEA. They are one of my all-time favorite skincare and body care companies. They are absolutely amazing. They are a clean, vegan, seaweed-based skincare meets body care company. They prioritize being climate neutral and are female founded, and they are just all of the things that I look for in a brand that I want to support. And I was supporting them long before they ever wanted to partner with me on a video. So it's totally a dream to partner with them again. And this dry brush is one of my absolute favorites. It is so nice. It's not too dense. Sometimes you can get a dry brush that's just too dense and it pulls off like too much skin. It can be too rough. This one is the perfect amount of like coarseness, but also softness. So with dry brushing, if you've never dry brushed before, it is truly just take some time for yourself, especially if you have kids. Just take some time for yourself before the craziness starts. It takes 1 minute, 2 minutes. You can spend more time, but you literally need 1 or 2 minutes to do this. Start at your feet. And all you're gonna do is brush, just to remember, brush towards your heart. Brush up towards your heart until you get up top, and then it's something different, but always just brush up towards your heart. All you're doing is gently pressing, and all that's gonna do is exfoliate your dead skin. It's gonna get your lymphatic system going. It's gonna invigorate your body. It feels so good. There's something about it that is just, oh. And also, I've pulled out my robe again. Oh, I've missed this robe so much. It has been way too hot. I know we moved to Vermont, but it's been way too hot. And I'm so happy to have this robe back. I'll link it down below. It's from Target. It's like a Barefoot Dreams dupe. I wore it basically every single day I was pregnant and haven't worn it since. And like, I pulled it out in the last week because it's actually cold here in Vermont, which is the best. So I actually keep this little stool here so that I can put my foot up whenever I need to dry brush. Don't mind this. This is just a little paint from some house projects. And so you just brush upwards towards the heart. Just very gentle. I'm not pushing too hard at all. And I love to put on a meditation or do like sound baths while I do this. I'll link my favorite sound baths below for you guys too, because this can be such a special time for yourself in the morning, and it truly changes my whole day. And I'm just big on going the extra mile for myself whenever I am taking the time to like just fill my cup up. You know, the days are long and hard with young kids, and it's very easy to just like forget to take care of yourself. And not even you just have other stuff you have to do. And so this is the easiest way to just pour into yourself really quick and just love yourself a little. So I do my whole body before I get in the shower, and then I can rinse off all of the exfoliated skin and do my whole skincare routine and just get nice and clean. So whenever I get out of the shower, I always apply all of my skincare products and all of my body care products. And this is my all-time favorite body butter. I'm not kidding. You see how giant this is? It's like the size of my head. I've gone through like 3 of these in the past year. I keep one by my bedside table, in my bathroom downstairs, my bathroom upstairs, and in my car. I keep them everywhere because I tend to have incredibly dry skin, especially as the colder months start to approach. I literally dry out. I get so crepey and my elbows get super dry, especially when I'm breastfeeding. I always lay on my side and like put my elbow down on the bed, and my elbows get so dry, like painfully dry. And this body butter is unbelievable. The way that it absorbs into your skin, it's so moisturizing and so rich, but it's not like overly oily. It absorbs into the skin, and I cannot rave about it enough. So whenever OSEA asked to partner with me and specifically talk about this, I was like, twist my arm. So especially on days, I literally use it every day, no matter what, but especially on days that I use my dry brush, I always go back in and rehydrate. I will do this, and sometimes I'll even like double up and rehydrate with the OSEA body oil as well on top of the body butter. It's just such a good combination. And the smell of this, oh, it smells amazing. It's like a citrusy, fresh, it almost has like a floral undertone to it, but it definitely reads mostly citrus, and it's just divine. Look how thick and beautiful. It's so luxurious, so creamy. This body butter is filled with so many yummy ingredients. It has seaweed, obviously, and ceramides and shea butter, peptides. It is anti-aging. And especially, like I said, when you get that like crepey, dry skin, this just plumps it right up, moisturizes it, and just makes your skin look so beautiful and smooth, especially after you use that dry brush. I have been working on so many projects in this house. I feel like I have to take a deep shower every other day. It's like getting myself clean feels impossible right now. So if you haven't checked out OSEA before, I cannot recommend them enough. They did give me a discount code. I will put it here on the screen and also put it down below in my description box, as well as a link for you so you can go and shop their products. I have gifted these products many times, and with the holidays coming up, it is a good time to start stocking up on things like this. This makes such an easy, are you kidding me? If I was newly postpartum and somebody gifted this to me, I would be in pieces. But thank you again to OSEA for partnering with me on today's video. And let's go and get ready for our day. I have to go and feed Indigo and head out the door soon.
Talk about the weather. We can talk about what they play on.
It's been so nice to live in a place that actually feels like fall in September. All of the leaves are starting to change. The air has this crisp coldness to it, especially in the morning and in the evenings. The air just feels like lighter and breezier, and our house is surrounded by this big circle of trees, and we back up right to protected land, and it's just so stunning out here. We feel incredibly just like at peace being more rural like this. It's been a big adjustment in a lot of ways, but everything has just kind of come in a way that feels very natural, and like we're just on the right path. You know, when everything just falls into place, you just kind of feel like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And the weather is just so special. It's very Drew and I keep sitting out on our patio at night after the kids have gone to bed, and we just look at each other in awe of where we are and like how beautiful it is, and just, I don't know, it just feels like a special place, and it's just, yeah, it's truly stunning. And we have so many big plans for this house, so many big plans for our property and what we want to do with it. And, you know, owning a house, there's just always something to be doing. And so we're trying to take our time, we're trying to settle in. And we had one thing on our to-do list that was kind of the biggest thing, and that is we have an in-law suite, and I wanted to do it up and make it into an Airbnb. So that was the very first thing that I had on my list of things to do. I'm very excited to show you guys the house and the property. But for now, I think my kids are waking up. There's this period of time where their naps kind of overlap. It only lasts about 20 or 30 minutes, but it's lovely when it does happen. So we've been working on different spaces that make sense, and we definitely needed this little mudroom area because the whole house is hardwoods and our driveway is gravel. And so we were finding that everything was getting very, very dirty. So we ended up getting house shoes that we are determined to put on instead of wearing shoes in the house, so that we had some cushioning also from the hard woods. We noticed that we were in so much pain. Both Drew and I, our back and our knees and our legs were killing us. So I ordered these. These are so comfy. If you're looking for a slipper option, I know they look kind of like little grandma slippers, but they're so nice. I'll put them in the description box. The company's called Nutka's, and they are wool slippers. So they keep your feet nice and warm and cozy without being sweaty, and I'm in love with them. My kids woke up from their nap, so I didn't get to take you into the Airbnb. But I really wanted to talk about postpartum depression today, and just share more about my experience and kind of my takeaways from it as being a postpartum and breastfeeding person. I was very hesitant and nervous to start taking medication. I think I knew that I needed more help than I could provide myself for a while before I actually sought out any type of medical assistance, because I was having a lot of guilt about the fact that I am breastfeeding. And even though there isn't any significant evidence to suggest that it has a negative impact on your baby, there's still just this like fear and anxiety in the back of your mind that it could impact your baby. And so I put it off for a really, probably too long. It got to a point where it felt like desperation rather than just seeking additional help for something that I was struggling with. So it wasn't immediate postpartum. There's like baby blues, right? Where kind of the first couple of days to week following when you actually give birth, like that first week of postpartum, your hormones are going through such a huge shift that experiencing those very like deep, full emotions it's very normal. It's when it's those type of like really deep emotions last for weeks and weeks and weeks that it's something that you might want to consider talking to your provider about. And mine subsided. I think it was, it was intense when it did come on, but it was a couple of days, right? And then after that, it was fine. Like I was totally fine. And it was for months that I was okay. And then it kind of started to peak around how many months postpartum? 3 to 4 months postpartum. And this is something that I kind of found out whenever I started understanding and like not researching. And this is something that I found out whenever I was kind of looking into postpartum depression more and medication and stuff, is that it's actually the most common time for people who are going through the postpartum period to experience depression. And yeah, I should have pursued medical guidance at that point, but like I said, I was feeling really, really guilty about it, and like I should just figure it out myself, and that like I didn't need to do medication or take medication because that was selfish, right? And so my symptoms at the time were more, I would probably refer to them as being mild. And by the time I ended up taking medication, my psychiatrist described them as severe. And so if you get anything from this video and you're somebody who is watching this because you are worried about postpartum depression, my suggestion is to pursue and seek care sooner than you think you need it. Don't let guilt and shame keep you from taking care of yourself, because it feels like you're doing like the bigger thing, right? Like the right thing, when in reality it's just kind of something that we create in our minds that we're supposed to do. Mom guilt is something I could do an entire separate video about, mom guilt, because I know so many of us experience it, but when it comes to your mental health and making sure that you are going to be able to like be there to show up for your kids, don't put it off, because the longer you put it off, honestly, the harder it is. So when I look back and kind of think about the symptoms that I was experiencing that made me want to pursue psychiatric support, it was more just like I wanted to lay down and go to sleep and not wake up, right? Like I just wanted to float away and just like disappear. And it wasn't because of anything that was happening to me. That was kind of the biggest thing that was really interesting to work through, is that it wasn't like something happened. It wasn't like something triggered me to enter a depressive state other than being postpartum. But like my kids, you know, it wasn't like my kids were doing anything to make me like feel insanely overwhelmed, or that my relationship was suffering, or like my job was going really well. We had decided we were moving and we were like kind of following our dreams. And yeah, there was just a lot of positive things happening in my life. And yet I was experiencing all of these internal struggles. I just had to take such a long break with Wilder being back in school. That brings with it lots of runny noses and colds, and poor Indigo has picked up a cold that Wilder picked up from someone at school. And she's never been sick before. This is the first time. So she is having a tough time. So I had to cut that off for a second and go, and that was actually the worst I've ever seen her. She's never not like, when she wakes up, she just nurses and then goes right back to sleep, like pretty much immediately. And I just had to rock her to sleep for like the last hour. That was intense. I just want to put it out there that if you are experiencing postpartum depression longer after you anticipate, like if you thought you were in the clear and you realized you weren't, like I'm there too, and I understand, and that's okay. And there are things that will make it so much easier and like help you. I don't know how I would have gotten through this period of my life without psychiatric help and medication. I've never taken medication for literally anything in my entire life, and I just knew that this was different. Like this, it felt like it was the last option, but it felt like the option for me, and I'm so glad that I did it. So if you are at this point too, where you're not usually somebody who leans towards medication, and you're feeling guilty about it, I totally understand. And I promise you, I feel like a different person. I feel like I am gonna be okay. And like I have a hold on the way that I think and feel, and I feel like I'm in control again. And that is worth everything. If you needed some encouragement, I hope this is enough for you to consider pursuing it, because, man, it made a difference for me. And my experience going on the medication was actually incredibly mild. There are a ton of videos on YouTube where people share their experience like starting medication and the side effects they experienced, and just like things you can keep your eye out for. But for me and for my baby, because some people experience negative side effects with their baby too, I didn't experience honestly much of anything. The number one thing I experienced was major fatigue during that first 2-week period when you're starting to like ramp up how much you're taking and kind of like weaning into it. And I definitely had a week's time-ish where I was just exhausted. No matter how much sleep I got, I was still so exhausted. And my baby did not experience any negative side effects. The only one that I can think of was one night I had really bad GI issues, and she also had GI issues. So that's who's to say like what it actually came from, but I do remember that one experience throughout the time. So for what it's worth, I feel like it's worth mentioning because I was so worried just about how it would impact her. Oh man. Indy just woke up again and is struggling so bad. Oh boy. I think it's gonna be quite a long night. Whenever we moved, I remember now, I was just looking for it everywhere. Whenever we moved, I got rid of our nose Frida, and in my head, I was just gonna buy a new one whenever we needed it, but I didn't know we would need it today. Her nose is so stuffy and I don't have it to snot sucker. I got rid of it because it was just old and it needed to be replaced. We'd had it since Wilder was a newborn, so it definitely needed to be replaced. So now we don't have it, but I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. I have a feeling I'm gonna be up for many hours this evening. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And thank you again to OSEA for partnering with me on today's video. Be sure to check them out in the link down below and give their products a try if you have not tried them before. And I will see you guys in next week's video.